It's 1:43 a.m. Your room is dark. Your phone is in your hand. You told yourself that tonight would be different. Tonight, you were finally going to change your life. You were going to study. You were going to work on your dream. You were going to become the person you've always wanted to be. But somehow, you're still scrolling. One more video, one more reel, one more excuse. And deep inside, you already know what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up feeling guilty. You'll tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow never comes, and if this sounds familiar, then this video might be the most important video you'll ever watch. Because today, I'm going to tell you something that nobody has ever told you before. You are not lazy, you are not weak, and you do not lack discipline. The real reason you procrastinate is far more dangerous than you think. And once you understand it, you may never procrastinate again. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man. Let's call him Arjun. Arjun wasn't stupid. In fact, everyone around him believed he was talented. His teachers said he had potential. His friends believed he would become successful. Even he believed it. At least he used to. Every night, Arjun made plans. He wrote goals. He watched motivational videos. He promised himself that tomorrow would be the day everything changed. But tomorrow always looked exactly like yesterday. At first, he blamed social media. Then he blamed his environment. Then he blamed his lack of motivation. But years later, he discovered something terrifying. The problem was never social media. The problem was never motivation. The problem was his brain. And unfortunately, the same thing may be happening to you. Think about the last 7 days of your life. How many times did you say, I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. I just need to feel motivated. Now here's the scary part. Scientists have discovered that procrastination is not a time management problem. It's an emotional survival mechanism. Read that again. Your brain is not trying to help you succeed. Your brain is trying to help you survive. And those two things are not the same. Because your brain has one job: avoid pain. And every time you try to do something difficult, study, exercise, build a business, learn a skill, start a YouTube channel, your brain asks one question: is this comfortable? If the answer is no, your brain creates an escape route. You call it procrastination. But here's where things become terrifying. The longer you procrastinate, the more your brain believes that avoidance equals safety. Which means every time you delay your dreams, you are literally training your brain to destroy your future. And nobody talks about this. Nobody tells you that procrastination is not just wasting time, it's destroying your identity. Because every day you don't act, you become the kind of person who doesn't act. And one day, you wake up, not because you're successful, not because you've achieved your dreams, but because you're wondering where your life went. Now, let me ask you something. What if I told you that there are two versions of you? The first version is the person you are today. The second version is the person you could become. Successful, confident, disciplined, powerful. And every single time you procrastinate, you vote against that future version of yourself. Not once, not twice, but thousands of times. Until eventually the person you could have become disappears. And that's why this video is not about productivity. This video is about survival. Because your greatest enemy is not social media. It is not your phone. It is not your environment. Your greatest enemy is the voice inside your head that says, tomorrow. But here's the good news. That voice can be defeated. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact psychological trap that has controlled your life for years, without you ever realizing it. But before we continue, I want you to do something. Close your eyes for just 5 seconds and think about one thing you've been postponing for months. Maybe it's starting a YouTube channel. Maybe it's learning a skill. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's changing your life. Now ask yourself one question. Why haven't you done it? No. Don't give me the answer you usually give yourself. Don't tell me I don't have time. Don't tell me I'm not motivated. Don't tell me I'll start next week. Because deep inside, you know that's not the real reason. The real reason is fear. And not just any fear, a very specific kind of fear. The fear of discovering who you really are. Think about it. As long as you don't start, you can still believe that one day you'll become successful. As long as you don't try, you can still imagine that you have unlimited potential. As long as you keep postponing, you never have to face the terrifying possibility that you might fail. And that's why procrastination feels safe. Because procrastination protects your ego. Imagine a student. He says, I'm going to study tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, he doesn't study. Again, and again, and again. Now ask yourself, what hurts more, trying your hardest and failing, or never trying at all? For most people, the answer is obvious. Failure hurts, so the brain creates a brilliant strategy. It says, let's not fail. But here's the problem. The brain doesn't say, let's not fail. It says, let's do it tomorrow. And that's why procrastination is so dangerous. Because it doesn't destroy your life immediately. It destroys your life slowly, quietly, one day at a time, one excuse at a time, one tomorrow at a time. And by the time you realize what's happening, years have disappeared. There was a study conducted by psychologists where participants were given a difficult task. One group was told they were highly capable. The other group was told the task was extremely difficult and that many people failed. Do you know what happened? The second group delayed starting far more often, not because they were less intelligent, not because they were less capable, but because fear changed their behavior. This means something terrifying. You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. You procrastinate because your brain is trying to protect you. Protect you from embarrassment, protect you from failure, protect you from disappointment. But here's the irony. The thing you're trying to avoid is exactly the thing that's destroying your life. Think about social media. Why do you open Instagram when you're supposed to work? Why do you watch YouTube when you're supposed to study? Why do you suddenly decide to clean your room when you're supposed to chase your dreams? Because your brain has found an escape. And every escape gives you a reward. A tiny reward. A tiny hit of dopamine. A tiny feeling of comfort. And over time, your brain becomes addicted. Not to success, not to achievement, not to growth, but to comfort. And comfort is dangerous. Because comfort doesn't destroy you dramatically. Comfort destroys you quietly. Imagine two people. The first person suffers today. They wake up early, they work hard, they face rejection, they face discomfort. The second person avoids suffering today. They stay comfortable. They delay everything. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid difficult decisions. Now fast forward 10 years. Who suffers more? This is the cruel law of life. Temporary pain creates long-term freedom. Temporary comfort creates long-term suffering. And maybe that's why you're watching this video. Because somewhere deep inside, you already know the truth. You know what you need to do. You've always known. The problem was never knowledge. The problem was action. And that's why motivation videos don't work. Because motivation gives you emotion, but emotion disappears. Discipline remains. But even discipline isn't enough. Because before you can change your actions, you must change your identity. You must stop saying, I want to become disciplined, and start saying, I am a person who takes action. You must stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I do. Because the greatest transformation in human history has never happened when people change their goals. It happened when people change their identity. And here's the most important question of this entire video. Every single day you procrastinate, because one day you will wake up and you'll meet the person you've spent years creating. The question is, will you be proud of that person? Or will you spend the rest of your life wondering, what if I had started today? But before this video ends, I want you to imagine something. Imagine that it's 10 years from now. You wake up one morning, you walk to the bathroom, you look into the mirror, and standing in front of you is not the person you wanted to become. It's the person you allowed yourself to become. The dreams are gone, the excitement is gone, the ambition is gone. Not because you were stupid, not because you were unlucky, not because you lacked talent, but because every single day you believed you had more time. You believed there would always be another Monday, another month, another year, and then one day you realized there wasn't. You know what's terrifying? Most people don't lose their dreams in one day. They lose them slowly, one excuse at a time, one delay at a time, one "I'll start tomorrow" at a time. And the worst part? They don't even notice it's happening. Because procrastination doesn't feel dangerous, it feels comfortable. It feels safe. It feels harmless. Until one day you wake up and ask yourself the question that destroys millions of people. What happened to my life? And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're watching this video today. Not because you're lazy, not because you need motivation, but because a part of you still believes. A part of you still knows. A part of you still remembers the person you wanted to become. The person who dreamed big, the person who promised themselves they would change the world, the person who refused to live an ordinary life. That person is not dead. That person is waiting. Waiting for one decision, one action, one moment of courage. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't become successful when you feel ready. You become successful when you act while feeling afraid. You don't become disciplined after taking action. You become disciplined by taking action. And you don't change your life tomorrow. You change your life today, right now, in this moment. So I want to ask you one final question. When this video ends, what will you do? Will you scroll to another video? Will you tell yourself you'll change tomorrow? Or will today become the day you finally stop negotiating with your own potential? Because years from now, there will be only two versions of you, the one who kept waiting and the one who finally started. And trust me, the pain of discipline lasts for a few moments, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. So don't promise yourself that you'll change tomorrow. Promise yourself that you'll change today, because the person you've been waiting to become has been waiting for you all along. And maybe, just maybe, this is the last day you'll ever say, "I'll do it tomorrow."